This is Doug Williams, and you're watching Class Act Sports.
We're joined today by Doug Williams, Super Bowl MVP, Tampa's own. Great to have you, brother.
Good to see you again, Victor.
Absolutely, man. Well, you and I had an opportunity to work here last year with the Bucks. You was a first-round draft pick here in 1978.
Long time ago, a whole lifetime almost.
Talk about the money you made back then and the type of money these guys are getting today.
It'd probably be easy to talk about the money you didn't make back then. It is what it is as far as the timeline, the years gone by. I came in here in 1978, signed a 5-year contract for a total of $565,000.
Wow.
Now, if you got 3 years of playing in, you can't make less than $500,000 a year. But I'm sure the players before me was probably saying the same thing when I came in, as far as what I was making compared to what they made when they came in. And you look at it from a realistic standpoint. I grew up in a small town, USA. Didn't have a lot and came to Tampa and got a lot as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
Things didn't work out after 5 years, and you look at it as water under the bridge, and there's nothing that you can do about it, so you just got to go on. And I think at the end of the day, it worked out a lot better for me than it did for the organization at that particular time.
But when your contract back then is over, obviously there wasn't no CBA. How were you able to choose where you want to go at that time?
Well, it's unfortunate. They say you're a free agent, but you're really not free.
Right.
Because the team still own the rights. I mean, you play 5 years, and if you wanted to go somewhere else, if another team signed you, and especially in my case, if I had to sign with somebody else, they would have to give Tampa at that particular time 2 draft picks. So you still wasn't free.
Right.
You was free, but you wasn't free.
Right.
And they was able to prevent you from playing anywhere else. And I missed a whole year playing football in 1983. I didn't play at all because the contract situation. No team was going to sign me. A couple of teams had inquired about trading, but it was more or less, we're not going to let him go, and this is how we're going to do it.
And you had to wind up going to USFL at that particular time when you came back, right?
I did. In the latter part of 83, I signed and played with the Oklahoma Outlaws in the USFL for the 1984 season. And I spent 83 actually doing substitute teaching at a junior high school. My brother was the principal.
Well, when you left there, I think Joe Gibbs brought you to Washington, D.C., play for the Redskins.
Well, after the USFL folded, I went from Oklahoma to Arizona, 84, 85, and then the season, the league folded. Okay. And in August of 1986, I got a call from Joe Gibbs, who actually was a running back coach here in Tampa my rookie year. Okay. And had a big to-do about whether or not I was drafted here along with Kenny Herock. So Joe knew me. And him being the head coach of the Washington Redskins at the time, he called me and asked me, could I come and be his backup quarterback? Because Joe Theismann had gotten hurt in 85, the year before that. Jay Schrader was a young quarterback, and he needed a veteran backup. And he asked me, could I be a backup? And at that particular time, I didn't have a job. Right. So I told him I could be any up. Let's know the backup.
You got injured, and you filled in, and I think the rest is history. You wind up being the first black, Super Bowl winner, MVP. How was that for you?
Well, the first year in '86, I attempted only one pass the whole year. Jay played the whole year. But going into the '87 season, he got hurt the first game of the season. And I came in, filled in. We was able to beat the Philadelphia Eagles along with the late great Reggie White and Jerome Brown, those guys back when they had a great front seven. And it was like that all during the year. Then I got hurt. Jay came back. Jay played bad. I came in and brought him back to victory on a couple of games. And the last time, Thanksgiving, I hurt my back. And Jay came back and took over. And the day after Christmas that year, 1987, we was in Minnesota. And we was playing bad. We had already made the playoff. we really wasn't moving the football, and Joe made a decision to put me in, and I went in. We came back, we won the game, and the next week was a playoff. And Joe said Doug Williams is my starting quarterback for the playoff, and that's when the history started.
Wow. Well, how was that though? I mean, how was that feeling, winning the Super Bowl, being the first black quarterback, being on a Wheaties box? I mean, that had to be pretty special, especially in those times.
Well, I think at that particular time, having been in the league and played in the NFL for 5 years and in the USFL for 2 and in my second year. So, I mean, you're talking about 9 years now.
Right.
And so I was a seasoned veteran,
Right.
but I never had an opportunity to make it to the Super Bowl, or be in a position with a great football team to make the Super Bowl. So I had to treat it the way it should have been treated. As old cliche, a good friend of mine used to always say, that if you don't belong, act like you do. And with the veterans that had already been to the Super Bowl before, I felt like I had to fit in with those guys and treat it the way it should have been treated, with the fact that we're on our way to try to be world champion. It wasn't about an individual feat, it was about a team feat. And just so happened I was fortunate enough to be the starting quarterback, and the other part was I just happened to be black, the starting quarterback of the Washington Redskins. And that's how you had to treat it. We knew all the things that went along with it from the political standpoint and the media standpoint, but we didn't buy into it. I didn't buy into it. My whole idea was to make sure I stayed focused and do the things that we had to do in order to get us the opportunity to win the football game.